this short tutorial on creating a Spring Boot app using the Spring Initializr. First of all, what is the Spring Initializr? In its most basic form, it's a website that provides you with options on how you want to create a new Spring Boot application. Why would you want to use it? Well, it's probably one of the simplest ways to create a new Spring Boot app. Select the options you want from the UI, and you're provided with an archive downloaded to your computer with all the basic scaffolding for your Spring Boot app, which reduces the amount of boilerplate code you as a developer need to write, allowing you to get on with your primary job of implementing business logic. As a side note, it is possible to create your own implementation instance of the Spring Initializr with libraries that you may have developed within your organization, but I'll cover that in a different post some other time. It also provides a consistent project structure for you to work with that is in a format commonly used by lots of developers, allowing for best practices. The Spring Initializr gives you the option to select from the many libraries or dependencies that are made available from the Spring team. These make it easier to bootstrap a Spring application quickly by simply selecting the required framework capabilities you want in your project. For example, ops like the actuator, templating engines like Velocity. Maybe you want OAuth security. And for observability, you might want logging, metrics, and/or telemetry. The Initializr will create a downloadable archive based on the options you select. And then you can open that in your favorite IDE and get to work straight away. The first step is to visit start.spring.io. So here we are in the Spring Initializr at start.spring.io. First thing you want to do is choose the type of project you want. I'm going to go with Maven, and I'm going to use the Kotlin language. For Spring Boot, I'm going to use the latest release version, which is currently 3.2.3. For the metadata, I'm just going to keep all the defaults here as it's only for a demo. I want to use Java 21 though. And now to the cool bit. I can view all the possible dependencies. And as you can see, there are quite a few of them here that you can bring into your project. I'm going to start off with the Spring Actuator. And it adds it into this dependencies list. So let's add some more. I'm going to add in web, and I'm going to use the Spring Reactive Web. Now this time I'm going to hold down the control key as I click the option, which leaves the window open. And I'm also going to use the Postgres database, so I'll select the Postgres driver. So here are the three dependencies I want to use. I can explore the project that's effectively going to be downloaded to my computer. It's pretty much just a standard Maven project. I can also share this project template by clicking on the share button, copying the provided URL and sending it to any interested party. For now, I'm just going to generate my project. So I click on the generate button and it automatically downloads it to my computer. So now that I've downloaded my new Spring Boot project, I've opened a terminal into the downloads directory, and the first thing I'm going to do is unzip that archive. And I cd into the created directory, and I can see the contents of that folder. So let's try and do a Maven build on this. So I'm just going to run verify, clean, build, and test the application. And this might take a few seconds to do. Working through the tests, and there we have a successful build. The next thing we can do is open this up in our favorite IDE, which in my case is IntelliJ. So I've launched IntelliJ and I've gone to open a new project. From the source, I've selected the location where we downloaded and unarchived that project. And then I select the pom.xml file. And I want to open that as a project. So from the pom.xml file, we can see the dependencies we selected, which are the Spring Boot actuator, the Reactive Web project, and also the Postgres driver. You can now get on with delivering your business logic. If you're using IntelliJ, you can actually make this whole workflow even easier. If you go to the New Project option and select Spring Boot, you'll notice that the server URL is already at start.spring.io. That's because this is not just a website, but actually an API, which you can consume from various IDEs. So IntelliJ have written a client for this. So using this, I can select the name for my project, where I want the source to reside, the type of project I want. Again, I'm going to use Kotlin and I'm going to use Maven. I've updated the Maven coordinates slightly. I'm using JDK 21 with Java 21, and I'm using a jar file. And in here, I can do the same options of selecting the actuator, Spring Boot actuator, reactive web, and Postgres. And then I can click on create. And it's opened up in the other window. And now I have direct access to my project, which I can get on now and start implementing my business logic, which you can see is really quite quick to get going. So thanks for watching this short video. I hope it's helpful. So please thumbs up and subscribe. Until the next time.